Hello students and viewers, welcome back again to Science Capsule, a perfect self-learning tool for school children. In the past episodes, we are learning the second chapter of your class 10 science, that is acids, bases and salts, and we are learning the chemical properties of acids and bases, right? So if not watch those videos, then you will find it in the I button and I'll also provide in the description, then you can check it out those videos. So today's episode is going to be very interesting and knowledgeable, since we are going to discuss about what is that thing that present in all the acids. About that we will be learning, and what is the common thing that is present in all the bases. So this video is going to be very interesting and knowledgeable, so watch till the end of this video. If not subscribe this channel right now and press the bell icon so that you won't miss any of my new uploads. So let us start today's session. Dear students, we have already learned the chemical properties. So we know that when metal reacts with the acid, then what is produced? Corresponding metal salt and hydrogen gas is produced. So when sodium reacts with the hydrochloric acid, we get sodium chloride and hydrogen gas. When magnesium reacts with sulfuric acid, then we get magnesium sulfate and hydrogen gas. So likewise, if we keep on reacting the metals with any acid, then we get corresponding metal salt and hydrogen gas. If you see all these chemical reactions, we get different products. We use different acids, different metals, but in all these chemical reactions, one thing remains constant. What is that? In each and every chemical reaction, hydrogen gas is produced. We have also seen how to detect or how to confirm for the evolution of hydrogen gas. When we bring the burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube or the place where the chemical reaction is taking place, then the gas produces pops on. So the burning matchstick produces pops on. This is how we identified the existence or evolution of hydrogen gas, right? So from this we can understand that all the acids have hydrogen in common. So in order to understand this, the acid can also be explained or understood in another way. Acids are those substances which, when dissolved in water, displaces hydrogen ion. How can we understand this? Here see, when hydrochloric acid, when dissolved in water, we can write here as water, it produces hydrogen ion plus chloride ion. If we take another acid, sulfuric acid, then here when it is dissolved in water, we get hydrogen ion plus sulfate ion. If we take acetic acid, one more acid, CH3COH, here when it is dissolved in water, we get H plus CH3COO minus, right? So this is how we can understand. You see, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, acetic acid, and we can take one more acid also, nitric acid. In all those we can see one thing remains constant, that is the hydrogen ion. So because of this ion, it conducts electricity. Now alcohol, you know the formula of alcohols. For example, ethyl alcohol, we can take here CH3CH2OH. This is the ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol also has a hydrogen, but they do not conduct electricity. Why? This is because it does not, when this is dissolved in water, it does not produces a hydrogen ion. So since the substance which displaces hydrogen ion when dissolved in water, we can think that substance is an acid. So this is how we can understand for an acid. What it, children? Now let us understand what happens when acid is dissolved in water, because this concept is very important as far as examination is concerned. Since you see here, what happens when any acid is dissolved in water? We see here hydrogen ion is produced, right? In all these reactions, we write here hydrogen ion. These hydrogen ions, what we see in all the chemical equations, is not stable. Hydrogen ion never remain independently. What happens actually? We see hydrochloric acid, right, which when dissolved in water, what happens? Primarily the hydrogen ion is produced. The produced hydrogen ion is highly unstable. They react with the water. Since it has water here hydrogen ion reacts with reacts with water, here we get Cl minus plus hydronium ion is produced. Since this reaction can be written as H plus, so produced in this reaction immediately reacts with water, and here it forms H3O plus. So this thing you should understand, that in each case we see hydrogen ion is produced, but the produced hydrogen ion reacts with water and exists as H3O plus. In each case we can see H3O plus. Got it, children? So this is what happens when acid is dissolved in water. Now we have to see what happens when base is dissolved in water. Dear students, when base, for example, sodium hydroxide is one of the familiar base we are learning. So when sodium hydroxide is dissolved in water, what happens? It produces sodium ion, along with this hydroxide ion will be produced. Got it, children? So we take another example here, calcium hydroxide. When we talk about calcium hydroxide, when it is dissolved in water, it produces Cu2 plus 2 hydroxide ion. When we take another example, magnesium hydroxide, here also we can see when it is dissolved in water, we get Mg2 plus 2OH minus. So in all the bases we see one thing remains constant. See here, different bases we have taken, but in each case we are getting OH minus ion. So altogether we can say that the acids are those substances which displaces or produces hydrogen ion when dissolved in water, whereas bases are those substances which releases or which produces a hydroxide ion when dissolved in water. So this is how we can understand what happens when acids and bases are dissolved in water. Got it, children? So dear students, at this point you should know what is a dilute acid, what is a concentrated acid, what is dilute base, and what is concentrated base. Dear students, the acid which has some quantity of water, we call it as a dilute. If no water is there, then we call it as concentrated. Now, in order to make any acid dilute, what we need to do? We have to add water, and this process is highly exothermic. What is exothermic? Here, exothermic means it liberates large amount of heat. So the reaction which produces heat, we call it as exothermic, right? So the dilution of acid is an exothermic process, so care must be taken. Now the question is, here we have acid and here we have water, right? Now what we need to do in order to make this acid dilute? So there are two ways. One is we have to add acid into water, and another one is we have to add water into the acid. Which one is the correct procedure? Dear students, we have to add acid into water, not the water into acid. Why? This is because when you add acid into water, large amount of heat is produced. So the heat what is evolved during this reaction is absorbed by water, so it does not cause any effect. So it is advised that in order to make a dilution, acid must be added into water, not water into acid. What will happen if we add water into acid? Very interesting, right? Now look at carefully. When we add water into acid, what happens? Here also the reaction is highly exothermic, large amount of heat is produced, right? The heat energy what is produced here can make the acid solution splash out, and it can cause harmful effects or it can be hazardous. So it is advised that always not, in order to make the dilution of acid is to be added into water, not the water into acid. So I believe you understood today's episode. If you find it useful, then hit the like button. If not, subscribe this channel and press bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I upload new videos. So see you all on another day with a new topic. Till then, keep learning.